It's your weekly breakaway for fun conversations on pro cycling. Come and join us for another ride in the team bus. I'm Matt Harper, and together with my brother Justin, we'll do deep-ish dives on professional bike races, teams, riders, and all sorts of cycling-related stories. And we might just sprinkle in some other shiny pop cultural objects along the way. So jump in the saddle and tighten up those shoes. The road awaits. Allez! Hello and welcome to the Team Bus. I'm Matt and this is my brother Justin, and today on the bus we've got stage racing season in full swing with multi-day events happening around the globe. We'll take a look at the men's Etoile de Besseges, where we were treated to a handful of lesser-known riders and first-time pro wins. In the men's Volta Comunitat Valenciana, we saw a return to form for a beloved sprinter and confirmation of the form of one of the Pro Peloton's top riders. And at the women's UAE tour, one of our faves made good on the huge expectations on her shoulders amidst a cast of national champions on the slopes of the iconic Jabal Hafit. We'll also recap a couple of one-day races that are associated with stage races: the Vuelta CV Feminas, the women's consolation prize for not having their own Valenciana stage race, and the Muscat Classic, the one-day prelude to the men's tour of Oman. And as always, we'll finish out with more adventures in the Broom Wagon. Allez. All right. Welcome to the show, everyone. Matt here with Justin. Just came off of a Sunday where I jammed so much bike racing into my eyeballs between the hours of like 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. It was ridiculous. There was a whole lot of racing out there to ingest, and I basically performed a symphony of multitasking yesterday for about 7 hours straight with both computers running in overdrive. And I jammed a lot of material into my face. So I am ready to take the lead on these conversations. How would you characterize your preparations? You were saying just before we got on air that
I was following all week, like, pretty well until yesterday, where I kind of had a honey-do list that needed to be done. And so I was able to get up in the morning and I watched UAE end, but then I was like still kind of distracted, so I went back and rewatched the ending of that race, and I just, where I could get one in here and there, I got one in as best I could, and there was a lot going on this week.
Well, I'll say this. We spoke after we finished recording last week about the need to possibly trim the talk about these lesser known races down a little bit because we like talking about it and we are prone to go deep. Mm-hmm. But that episode was a little long. So
it was.
Let's take a dry run here of trying to tone it down a little bit. We'll take it in the order that we discussed in the intro to the show, starting with men's Besseges and Valenciana. Then we'll go on to the women's UAE tour, and we can talk about the one days at the end there. That's no big deal.
So if you remember correctly, this last year, this race is the one that had all the chaos with like cars and whatnot on the road.
Yeah, we had a whole conversation about the difficulty of keeping these smaller races alive. I mean, it's really when you're talking about multiple stages over multiple days and having to put on this traveling road show and do tons and tons of road closures and stuff like that, it's very difficult if you don't have a great big budget, because that is just a whole lot of legwork that has to be done to put these things on. Dozens, probably hundreds of people that need to participate in the staging of one of these races, and smaller races can be subject to things slipping through the cracks. Eyes not getting dotted.
I have to say though, this one seemed to have gone off without a hitch.
Indeed. So let's jump into it. 5-day stage race in France, and right off the bat, I was delighted to see Jose Bain and Robbie McEwen on the call. They are really, really good together. And as I was doing a little research, see my aforementioned multitasking comment. I saw that I found like a reel on Jose Bain's career, and there was like some footage of her commenting on a race from way back in like 2015 or something, and who was right there with her? Robbie McEwen. So I'm like, oh, these two go way back.
Mm-hmm.
They got history. So there's a real kind of easy interplay between them, and I feel like Jose Bain is like really stretching out this year to wit a conversation which you were already hip to, or I should say a comment that you were already hip to, but I must put on the record here on the show at 65.3 Ks to go in the first stage. There's a a head-on shot of one of the riders pulling out of the side of the peloton for a nature break. And these days, it used to be they stopped. I mean, everything is just getting faster in pro cycling, including the nature
Including the
breaks.
nature break.
They don't even stop anymore. They just like yank it out as they're riding. They get into that weird little one leg up, one leg down pose, and they got one hand on the handlebars. So, anyways, you see the guy pulling over, and generally speaking, camera crews and the producers of these, broadcasts are able to switch to the helicopter shot in moments like that or whatever, so you're not getting somebody's junk.
And as the greaseman used to say, they lingered a little longer.
Yes, they lingered a little longer. And Jose Bain was on it, and she's like, oh, it's time for a nature break, that's for sure. Luckily, the camera is panning out just a little bit there. Otherwise, we would have we would have a pretty close up of the Unibet Rose Rocket. Unbelievable. So good. So good. Like, first of all, just the fact that it was a Unibet Rose Rocket rider who happened to be pulling over, and Jose Bain is sitting there just like ad-libbing in the moment and realizes the Rose Rocket. I mean, like, could the imagery be any more on the nose? No. Absolutely love that. That's going into the vault for a discussion at the end of year for my favorite moments, because I was dying. And she realizes that how cheeky she was being. And she says, I think I'm just going to make, it's the first day of the year, Robbie. Why not? Just do it. You might end up on their social media. So great. So great.
Yeah, it is. It was a wild thing, because it's like they catch them every once in a while, but like it was very surprising how long they stayed on that front camera shot. Like,
yeah,
obviously whoever was in charge of that was not really paying attention to what they were seeing, or maybe isn't accustomed to seeing what they were seeing. I don't know.
Now, to be fair, there was a combination of factors that made it a little bit easier to linger on that shot, to linger a little longer. Number one, it was the camera is like 150 feet away from this guy. Number two, it's kind of the shot's kind of blurry. Number three, it's overcast, it's cold out, so even if you did get a glimpse of it, it's probably at its smallest. So it's gonna be
man,
probably gonna be really hard to pick it out on the camera shot.
Unless it was Matthew Vanderpool, in which case we would have seen everything.
All right. So
enough of this.
As I mentioned in the intro, this race was punctuated by a whole bunch of names that we were, not necessarily super familiar with, if at all. And in the first stage, there was a incredible finish where this guy, Victor Vokuye, almost makes it on the finishing climb, running out of gas. But his teammate, Tom Krabbe, closes the deal at the finish, winning the sprint over the likes of Kubis, Lapera, Ewan Kostu, and Maryland Cycling Classic winner.
Yes, he was in there. His name is, it's escaping me, but I kept seeing it pop
Total
up.
Energies. Why
just say it? I can't.
Sandy Dujardin.
Sandy Dujardin. Yes, I did notice him a few times, especially in the time trial. I was like, ooh, there's the guy from the Maryland Cycling Classic. Which was also, by the way, was just shouted out on What's Occurring. I don't know if you heard. I mean, they kind of did. They were like, Maryland.
Maryland. Yes.
So for me, what was neat was, um, sorry, got something in my eye. Vercoulier was riding for the Flanders Balois team, and so obviously they're a smaller team, they're a regional team. I was like totally rooting for this guy to win, and I was so
Yeah.
happy that his teammate was able to get the
Yes.
win. Like it just,
Absolutely.
I love in these smaller races when the bigger team gets upset, and it just
100%.
it
100%. And how many times do we get a stage like this where one of the guys from one of those second or third tier teams does get away, does make a shot at it and gets caught? It happens so
right,
often,
and then gets
and
beaten
and
by
and
Jonathan
somebody
Milan.
else beats them,
Right.
right? So this time, just like by in a stroke of fate, the team still pulled off the win. I mean, really, really nice for them. Stage two, we got another guy that I've never heard of from Lotto Intermarché, Mathieu Kokoma, who was in a sprint. Basically, we got the sprinters got their chance in a super like wet and rainy day, chaotic sprint finish.
Yeah, this whole
Uh,
race was kind of moist.
Yeah, there was a little breakaway like going inside of the final 3Ks, two guys trying to get clear. Guy from Van Rysel Roubaix team, which we'll talk about a little later. They get caught. The sprinters are able to go for it, and this guy Kockelman beats Groenewegen and Matteo Machete in a photo finish
Yeah,
after a
this is the
very, very
one
long
guy
sprint.
out of the 4 days that I like actually knew, or recognized.
Yeah, he's been there or thereabouts, but yeah. Uh, really impressive to see him beat Groenewegen, who has had a turn of form and already has a win
Hmm.
this year.
Yeah.
I barely saw any of stage three, but the sprinters got a shot at it again. Lucas Kubish once again gets dusted. This guy, uh, he's gets the leader's jersey as a consolation prize, but this dude Henry Ulig from Alpecin Premier Tech beats him in this sprint, and it's really feeling like Kubish just cannot ever seem to close the deal. Stage four, this is when Van Rysel Roubaix got their wins with the Jopa Heremans, who
Yeah.
they were having the hardest time identifying. Like I think they thought it was one guy on the team. No, 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 it's not him. And then they thought it was another guy on the team. No, 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 it's not him. Oh, it's actually Jopa Heremans. Um, this one I did see a fair bit more of this stage. Did you see anything on this one?
I picked it up with like 20K to go. They had two laps left. Um, More or less, they had a little break off the front that ended up getting caught. Rockets went to the front and just pushed the advantage until they got to the end of the race.
Yeah, it was
Couple of guys
another.
jumping. A couple of guys jumping. Mifsud jumped off the front, and then
Well, you had like three decathlon guys popped off the front at one point. Kind of crazy little technical finish too. It was like real narrow through the little town. But Kubish was looking good. Paul Lepera is on his wheel, and then uh, Yalpa Harriman's like somehow sneaks by them, uh, and Kubish sees him. He's like, "Okay, let me catch up to this dude," and he just couldn't catch up to him. The guy just kept firing and firing and firing, and you could see it in the front on shot. Kubish was gassed. Although they interviewed him afterwards, he's quite a gentleman, but
mm-hmm. LaPera never seemed to be able to really get it done either. So, and obviously he's one of the bigger names that was in this race.
Yeah, did you notice after this stage he kind of gave him a little backhanded slap after the finish? He felt like he had been squeezed into the barrier on the right-hand side, but the overhead shot they go under a tree right as it's about to happen, of course. But from the positioning as they were going under that tree and where they were when they were coming out from under that tree, I really have a hard time believing that he pushed him into the thing and nobody called anything. So, uh,
I mean, it seemed like he drifted a little bit, but upon closer inspection, it was clean, and I think that LaPera was just being a baby about it.
I think so too. And, heat of the moment as well. You know how it goes. But Lucas Kubish manages to maintain the yellow jersey heading into the final day here. So, say what you want about him, he's in the jersey. So not coming away empty-handed. So I think that's 2 yellow jerseys for him. Stage 5 ITT, and he knows that he's not actually going to finish the day in the yellow jersey because he is a sprinter and
Yeah.
he's not going to hold on to the handful of seconds that he had. But I will say he put in a valiant effort on on that that time trial. The eventual winner of the time trial was also the eventual winner of the GC, won it all on the final day, and that was Ewan Kostu of Groupama FDJ United, who came onto our radar screens last year, I believe. He towards the end of the season, he figured in a couple of big races, maybe took a stage, something or other. But Kubis was able to come in a mere 35 seconds behind Kostu, and there was kind of a climby,
Which
a
is
bit of a
it's
climby
pretty valiant effort.
TT. Yeah. So GC finishes out with Lepera in second, Maxime Decomble of Groupama in third, giving Groupama FDJ a 1-3. So that's pretty big for them. I think it was might have been their first win of the season. And
And
they get
Kubis
they get
comes
two and
away with the
one.
points jersey as well. So Kubis comes away with the points jersey. Victor Pepin from the Nice Metropole Côte d'Azur took your King of the Mountain. Maxime de Kumbe from Groupama took the youth classification, and FDJ took the team classification.
Yeah. Good race. But far more exciting for my money was the men's Volta Comunitat Valenciana.
Yeah, there was a lot of going on in this race.
with with Rob Hatch and Adam Blythe on the call until the final day when we saw the pairing of Rob Hatch and Hannah Walker. We've been asking for this.
So yes, and Hannah Walker did double duty
Oh yeah.
on Sunday
Oh yeah.
because she
Well,
did UAE.
she's probably just sat on her what is oh man, I'm railroading this thing. Uh
On her Shea
Chris,
Lounge.
what does Chris Werner call his couch? The
The
Dr.
Chesterfield.
Yeah, the Chesterfield. Hannah Walker sat on a Chesterfield, just bouncing around the internet to different live streams where she hooks up with various broadcasters around the globe. Yeah.
But I will say that I love this Adam Blythe Rob Hatch duo. Like
Hmm.
I'm good with it.
Yeah,
Obviously
I like
Adam
Adam
had
and Rob.
something going on Sunday that he couldn't complete the race,
Right, he was probably doing some other race.
um but yeah, I was all for it. So there was a lot going on in this first stage. Yeah,
Well, and we should say a bunch of big names in this race as well, starting this race, including Max. Well, Remco Evenepoel is the biggest name of all in this one, but you got Pedersen, Magnus Cort, Teo Gegenhardt, your boy Kian on his new Movistar team,
hmm
Ivan Romeo, uh, Turner, Sheffield,
Magnus
Pellets.
Court.
Yeah, you got Pellizzari and Vlasov riding for Remco. You got Almeida and
Yeah.
McNulty there, and of course one Biniam Girmay,
Yeah, so I picked it up with 21 to go. It was a big ass breakaway.
which got just got caught.
Yeah, so they were literally calling it a split peloton. You had one, two, three, four, five. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like a who's who. You had Taberi, McNulty, Soler, Vacek,
In the
Sheffield,
front.
Evenepoel, Vlasov, Romeo, Uterbrook, Sheehan, Vandertook, Nicolo, Sevilla, Giulio
Plus,
Pezzari was in it.
plus Biniam, Joao Almeida, Arna Marit,
Yeah.
but interestingly, Nomads Pedersen. So Pellizzari basically hits out of this group with 17 kilometers to go. Awesome move. He's very clearly trying to set up Remco,
Yeah.
and he hangs tough for a number of kilometers.
Yeah, I mean, he was all the way out till he was set at 7K. He was still out. 5K, he's still out. 4K, still out. The peloton started catching somewhere around 3K. Is where my
Yeah.
well, I guess it says 3K still out, but peloton is looming.
Yeah, he gets caught at like 1.5 kilometers to go, and Biniam is looking so good with like two lead out men right on the pointy end of the race,
Yep.
and wins just barely, but he gets the win. super impressive sprint from Arne Marit, who won one of the didn't he win one of the Challenge Mallorca races, Arne Marit? His
Maybe
big
I
coming
can't
out party.
remember.
Um, and he gave a really, really genuine interview at the end. I was very impressed. He he spoke really highly of Biniam. He knew what Biniam's strengths were. Um, and he understood exactly why he was beaten in that sprint. And it's just you can pair it up with that interview from and what was it, Enzo Polani that I was shouting out a couple of weeks ago, where he was just so genuine and very, thoughtful in terms of analyzing his own performance, not taking it too hard, but just looking at it from a learning perspective. Really impressed with Arne Marit. So Biniam back after like 600 and something days without a win.
Wow, that's crazy.
Hmm.
So does that mean that he hasn't won since that Tour de France where he took the green jersey?
I'm not sure when his last win was. It might have been just after that, but it goes back pretty far. He did not get a win in 2025 at all, winless in 2025.
Wow,
So he's back.
that's a stat.
Well, he's got a new team. He's looking amazing in the coolest jersey in the Pro Peloton, besides Lidl Trek. Um, and he gets a win, and I was so pumped.
All right, well, stage 2 was the time trial, and to me, the biggest news about this stage is how bad this race organization is with the graphics for this race.
It's pathetic.
It is
It's
a
so
joke.
pathetic.
Like
Yeah,
it is by far not even close. First place, worst, graphics package that I mean that
yeah.
I can
I think
maybe that I can remember. Like I
they
mean they
seem to be having
literally
like,
they were showing the wrong people
oh yeah,
on the hot seat. They were like
the wrong
showing you the
people,
wrong
wrong
splits,
times.
wrong times, wrong splits,
When they would
wrong
have a
riders.
counter on there,
Yeah.
they'd have a counter on there, it would be like 1K, and like the announcers would be going, well, it's not actually 1K because they're very clearly outside of town, and the 1K marker is not until they get into town. So ignore that. Like it just
Yeah, it
the
was a
announcers are like having to
disaster.
apologize for their foibles and stuff. It was, yeah, total disaster.
Well,
By the way,
and the commentators couldn't actually do their job. Like they literally couldn't do their job. So I mean, especially coming off of the Australia races and how great they were, it is
yes,
a
yes.
super juxtaposition to watch how awful the and again, dude, like of all of these races this week, this is the marquee race of this week. All right, period, full stop. It's got the biggest riders in it,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I mean, it's a total failure as far
I
as
mean,
like,
it's the same thing. It's like it's Etoile de Besseges, it's these smaller races, that are just don't have the prestige, and like shit falls through the cracks. I mean, it's lame, but let's move on.
yeah,
Um, I had two other comments I wanted to make about the end of stage one real
sure,
quickly. Number one, I loved Biniam's interview. He shouted out Red Bull and like actually commented on the fact that they have a good atmosphere, and they and then and then the interviewer asked him, he was like, ITT tomorrow, what percentage of your training have you spent working on your TT? And he was like, I'd say about 1% of my training. Um, but he was in yellow, so good on him. But at the very end of the broadcast, Rob Hatch announced the late breaking news: Mads Pedersen out of the race. The reason he wasn't in with that front group is because he was involved in a crash that took him out of the race. He's got a couple of broken bones. It's like,
wrist and
really?
collarbone,
Yeah, 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 really lame. So
and
sad to hear that.
that's one of my riders. We both had riders go down in races.
Yeah, yeah. So weird stage, high winds at the start,
A lot of
and
rain too.
Yeah, and we had a big change. So the organizers decided that number one, they were just going to disallow TT bikes, which are harder to control in high winds. So, fine decision there. But strangely, they decide to neutralize like the GC times. Basically, like times are not going to be taken. So the only thing you're riding for is a stage win. So if you're a sprinter, a bottom tier guy or whatever, you're just going to go out there and call it a workout or something. There's
Hmm.
no absolutely no point in putting forth any effort whatsoever in this thing. And a handful of guys are going to go for the win. And uh, the fact that Remco Evenepoel is in the race just makes it even less tempting to actually try to put out some effort in it. So um, it was weird, and no surprise, the winner, Remco Evenepoel.
I mean, this dude, he looks like a man possessed right now. I mean, like he is loving life in his new team because
Well,
these they are just on a tear.
yeah, and he's always been a motivated rider, and I think I think last year his experience over the last couple of years has shown him that like when you are in good form, you must capitalize, period.
Yeah, I
Because you
agree.
never know when it can be taken away. You never know when you can have a crash. You know, pro cycling is a very tenuous thing in a way. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of factors at play, and you got to strike while the iron's hot. If you are, you know, in shape, in form, you got to go at it and go hard and go every single day. Try to gobble up everything you can. So because of the whole situation, we knew that Biniam would stay in yellow for
Yes.
another day. We saw some we saw Javier Romo give a very frank interview in which he made clear he was quite unhappy about the time for the GC thing. I thought it was dumb too. I think why? You know what I'm saying? Take out the TT bikes, that's fine, but like otherwise it's still a level playing field, all things considered. Everybody's
And
dealing
all
with the
things
same
considered, the
situation.
exact thing that everybody assumed would happen happened.
Right. And, I guess it made it more interesting going into the remaining stages since Remco wasn't coming out of stage two with a giant commanding lead. But he kind of felt destined to win the thing anyways, uh, stage three, we're back at it, regular road stage. Um,
This race moved so fast. Like these guys were flying.
yeah, absolutely. The key move was like 22 Ks to go. Andrew August and of Ineos and Florian Vermeersch get clear with 22 Ks to go. Two other guys bridge up. Halter of Uno X and a new pro
Verven.
Verven of Soudal Quickstep. Um, and these four held the lead into the final kilometer.
Yeah. Despite NSN on the front really trying to help bring it back.
Yeah, yeah. This guy Andrew August, American, I should add, plays it absolutely perfectly.
Oh, this is the
Hardly
comfort. This
doing
is
any work.
the controversial day.
Right. I mean, I don't think it's
I don't
controversial,
think
but
it's controversial either. So
it's bike racing.
yeah, 500 meters. They're still away. August launches. Um, he didn't take a turn. Is what everybody was so
Yeah. I
irritated
mean,
about.
if you watch the entirety of the 21 kilometers that they were in front, like he was on the front a couple of times, but he played the game and
Yeah.
he just outplayed him in the chess match. He went out there just enough to keep them riding, uh, and not have a temper tantrum, but really didn't do a whole lot of work, and it paid off because when he launched his sprint, it was like a burst of lightning. He was like,
Yes,
um,
and he had a teammate back in the peloton that was helping control things to help keep them away,
right.
and they just
Which
the
is
two.
why he could,
Yeah.
with a good conscience, sit on the back of that group. He's got a teammate who could very easily win the sprint if they get caught. So sorry, guys, you're gonna have to do the work.
So Adam Blythe said it best. He said, "You aren't here to make friends. You're here to win bike races."
Absolutely. Absolutely. So uh that was on Friday. That would make it the 6th of February, and I think that was the first American win of the season. Am I right?
Yes.
Benny stays in yellow, but he knows it's going to be gone by the end of tomorrow with a very hilly parkour awaiting. We get to Saturday, and at the start of the pictures, there's a 7-man break, which drops down to 6. Steph Cross, Julian Bernard, Louis Askey, Carlos Garcia Pierna, among a couple of others. And yeah, I have a note in here that once again, the production quality, very meh, very
Yeah.
little info being shown. Don't have the gap time shown. It's really lame. They would show the gap, but it was like with a lame little graphic down at the bottom and it would only pop up sporadically. And it's just like, just put it on the screen, 100% of the time. It just needs to be there. Like, end of story. How come these, like, if you have
Yeah.
the
I mean,
technology, why are you only giving it to us? Like, ugh.
I have a note at 3K to go that says the graphics for this race are the fucking worst.
Yeah, it's so bad.
Yeah,
Because
in the chasers were the chasers were so close to catching him, and I don't know. He
Well, this is where we finally start to see the strength of the Red Bull Bora trio like coming to the forefront because Remco's there and he's got Pelizzari and Vlasov who going into the going into the climb that was to like 20 Ks to go or whatever, they absolutely shredded it for Remco. They get to the final climb, 17 Ks to go. By 15 Ks, Peloton's 36 seconds back off of the leaders. Crass is fading. It gets like crazy steep. And Red Bull Bora is just destroying everybody.
yeah, 5K to go. By 5K, Remco had 20 seconds on the chasers that were Tiberi, Almeida, and Pelizzari. I love the gold accents on his bike and his helmet, by the way. I love the fact that he got rid of the gold helmet for the Red Bull helmet, but he left the little gold accents on different parts of his gear. I had that note in there where I was like, oh man, I really like that. So 3K to go, or 2.5K, he had 10 seconds on the chasers. I put a note that said Pelizzari needs to slow them down. BMAC catches the chasers, and
It was interesting watching it because like at times it would look like the chase was going really, really fast. And of course they're not showing the split time or
yeah,
whatever.
you
So
can't tell.
I'm sitting there like counting it off as they're going around these bends and stuff like that. And I realized like nah, he's good because I there were 2 spots where I was able to count off the gap, and at both spots it was like 23 seconds and then like 20 seconds, and I'm like, oh, it's he's
It's a
not
lot
losing any
further than
time
it
here.
looked.
Like, yeah,
At
because
1K to go, my note said he has this. So, I mean, I think it was a foregone conclusion once you got under the flamme rouge.
so
And
Remco wins.
they get a 1-3, which is they've taken 2 podium spots 2 days in a row.
Yeah, Pelizzari tried to pip Joao on the line and could not do it, but he was just going there, just trying to get every single second for Remco and for that team that he can.
Yes.
Uh,
Well, especially stealing off the extra seconds is siphoning them off from BMAC and anybody else that can grab them. So
yeah. Joao's interview was hilarious. Like, there's just no more laid back person in all of professional cycling than
he's just the
Joao
most
Almeida.
gracious rider out there.
Because they had a chance. Maybe they had a chance at catching Remco. They probably never really had a chance, but it didn't help that Tiberi was trying to save his legs in the finish, and McNulty was not really. McNulty was yo-yoing and couldn't really help Joao. At one point, he got back on. You thought, okay, if he can catch a few breaths on the back and then come forward, he might be able to give one last push to allow Joao to bridge up or make something happen. But that wasn't going to happen. McNulty was cooked, and Tiberi was trying to save his legs for the finish. So Joao, another rider might have been kind of like, express a little frustration, like, I mean, we could have gotten there, but Tiberi just wanted blah, blah, blah. And Joao is just like a totally unfazed. He's just, whatever. It's another day. We'll go tomorrow. It didn't happen. But at this point,
He
we've got
has
3
way less to prove right now than Remco does, so that makes sense.
for sure. And and we've got three Americans in the top 10 at this point with McNulty, Magnus Sheffield, and Riley Sheehan sneaking in there. I think he was like eighth or ninth. Remco's in yellow. Almeida's at 29, Pellizzari 31, Taberi 35. Very comfortable headed into stage five,
Yeah.
where we get the Hannah Walker Rob Hatch duo.
Yes, we get the this one I more or less picked up with like 15K to go. Like I
Yeah,
was
about the same. There was like a strong break still in contention, about a minute ahead uh, of a chase group and a minute and a half in front of Remco back in the peloton. You've got Hajduk and Andrew August of Ineos. You got Herzog from Red Bull. You got Jasper Schufs of Soudal, Garcia Pierna, Movistar, Beestrom of Uno X. Got that guy Pericas from UAE, and you got Uriarte from Kern Pharma, and Julian Bernard from Lidl Trek. And the Peloton is just pushing on them. Remco and the rest of Red Bull are on the front, even though they've got what's his name Herzog out in front. I guess he's just kind of nobody's believing that Herzog is going to win if the breakaway succeeds. So Remco's up on the front going, nah, let's just make sure that, when this eventually happens, I'm there.
so
So
yeah, the note that I had one on the sprint was that it was like very chaotic and
well, hold on. I
crazy.
got I got a few more
Sure.
notes before that. Uh, Around 8K to go or something like that. Andrew August skids out on a right turn and crashes. Doesn't look too poorly afterwards, but now Ineos did not have a numerical advantage at that point because up until that point, they were the only team that had two riders in that break. Um, Remco's whittled the gap down to 45 with 8 kilometers to go. UAE is also chasing super hard with like five guys on the front. Once again, even though Pericas is in the front group, so they're I guess nobody believes in the breakaway at this point. Bernard tries to raise the pace, and then he crashes out around another like super slippery right turn,
Yeah, with
and
Hajduk.
he takes Hajduk with him. So now Ineos
Yeah.
has nothing in the front. The leaders have a gap with 3K to go. The leaders still have 18 seconds, and now Ineos is just on the front like, oh screw this, we're getting this back. So yeah, it's Ineos and Remco on the front, knowing that everything is gonna come back together.
Yeah.
But it was not until like 500 meters to go that the catch is made, or sooner, and you get Raul Garcia Pierna from Movistar winning, coupling that with a win. Well, we'll get into it. Coupled with a different win in a different race. You got a very, very happy Movistar right now.
Not even a. I mean, I guess technically a different race, same location.
Yeah, and Remco is off the back like 4 seconds behind, easily securing
The GC. Yep.
the overall GC right there.
Yeah. No, it was a fun race. Red Bull definitely is making their presence known early in this season. So
Yeah, the strength of Pellizzari combined with the experience of Vlasov are two couple of just like weapons that Remco is going to be relying on. Those two are going to be so good for him in the Tour de France.
hmm
So good for him. Like this is just making his part of the Tour de France just so tantalizing.
yep.
Um, I have to shout out Andrew August once again. Another one of these young guys with his head screwed on real straight.
hmm
He gave another interview in which he was keeping it very real and not being too upset. Apparently, he crashed on stage 4 and stage 5. Um, so he said in his interview, overall, a lot of up and down, but I have to go home happy, and he does because he got his first career win. So could have been a lot better for him had he not crashed, but he was on the pointy end of the race in multiple occasions. He got a win, and that was good. Um, I loved how they grabbed a photo op for the entire podium, plus the stage winner, plus all 4 jerseys. It was like a cool shot there at the end if you watched till the end.
I did
Pellets
not.
Yeah, Red Bull, the big winners here because Pellizzari not only got the white jersey, but third place. So 2 podiums and 2 jerseys for Red Bull. That team is off to a flying start given their success in the Mallorca challenges last week.
Yeah,
So
no, they have been on fire.
very impressive. We will cap the conversation there unless you have any other notes about the Volta Valenciana.
Nope.
Stay with us. We're going to be back to talk women's UAE tour straight away.
Don't miss Beyond the Slipstream, our weekly companion podcast to the Team Bus, our domestique, if you will, dropping every Saturday in your usual podcast feed.
All right, welcome back. We're going to jump right into our review of the women's UAE tour. You came out of this one a happy little camper as it pertains to our Team Bus Fantasy League this year. For your number 1 draft pick was one Lorena Vibis, and she kind of picked up where she left off last year and the year before. Not only in terms of just her overall season, but this race in particular. Go.
Yeah, no, she did a wonderful job. I will say what we did see is a team that was able to make it as close as any team has made it in the last, 50 wins that she has. I mean, it's unbelievable. What is she up to now? Like 127 or something, or
No, she got wins number 119, 120, and 121 in this race.
okay. So let's real quick. Because honestly, there's just not a lot to talk about. A couple of notes. SD Works' lead out train is like Little Treks. All right, it's amazing. Like, they do such a great job of positioning and getting her exactly where she needs to be, and then which allows her to just do what she does, which is just smoke the shit out of everybody. Really, really, really great sprinter. I mean, it cannot be said enough. She is prototypical as far as, I honestly, if I was a sprinter and I was in like, I look at the start list and she's on it, like, I'm going, shit, she's probably going to win.
Yeah, it's just got to be so demoralizing. I mean, she's like, I guess she's at the peak of her career. I don't know. Like, maybe she's still on her way up. I mean, it seems like there's no place left for her to go. Like, as far as sprinting, I mean, if she's on course to become the greatest sprinter, male or female, of all time, full
Right.
stop. She's just not there. They don't even come close. The closest somebody came, and in fact, the closest that someone's come in forever was on stage 3, and I cannot remember the name of the woman that came second. But
Well,
I mean,
UAE.
there wasn't a bike throw, but
Yeah.
but she came pretty close.
Well, here's the thing. So obviously she took the first 3 stages. There's not really much going on in them. The only real big thing of note on stage 2 was there was a big wreck inside of 3K. Took out Ajax, took out Marlon Roysa. A very chaotic sprint, but she still comes out on top. All right. Like, so even when everything goes wrong, she still wins. So that takes us to stage 3 on Saturday. And, excuse me, UAE did the best job of any team I've seen out of her wins since we've been really paying attention to everything. And that was the closest that anybody's come. They were able to get her isolated at one point, and she had to kind of freelance. And there is a weakness in that freelance. All right. Yeah. There's a weakness of taking away the safety blanket of that really strong lead out. And that was the only way that UAE was able to capitalize on it, was they were able to get her, isolated. And had the rider from UAE gone, it was Consoni, or it's not Consoni. That's a male rider. Damn, I can't.
Consoni, Chiara
Consoni. Yeah, Chiara Consoni. I'm right. It was Consoni. Had she chose to go around her the other way, she probably could have beat her. She let her go on the she let her have the strong side, and if she'd have gone around the other way, she may have actually really contested for that win. Mm-hmm. But it shows that there is a way to beat her, right? There is a way to not let, because I mean, with given time and distance, she's too strong. You can't let her have she can't be in the second wheel, and
yeah, I mean,
you can't give her any space.
Can be made. No concession can be given. The rider who came the closest on stage 3, it was Laura Gillespie.
That's
of
the
UAE.
One. Yes.
She was also second on stage 1, and she was 5th on stage 2. So she, has been very, very close going into stage 3. And I mean, the commentators were quite adamant about how long it had been since someone came that close to Lorena Vibas in a finish. If you think about it, like in your mind's eye, you can't really remember a photo finish where Lorena Vibas is making a bike throw. Like
no,
that never happened.
I think of all of these things.
Exactly. Yeah, she's like got a set of custom poses. So refreshing to see, I guess. And UAE, I mean, this is their home race. Like, all the pressure is on this team, as we will be discussing very shortly when we get to stage 4. But this is their home race. They want a win in this race. That's why Pogačar has gone to this race a couple of times in recent years, to secure that big win and make his trillionaire owners happy.
Yes. All right. Well, that takes us to Sunday, Jebel Hafit.
Yeah, I was just so stoked to watch this. I like, as I mentioned earlier, have been watching lots and lots of cycling all day long. And what I did, I mean, obviously all in replays. And what I did was I just kind of took it in chronological order, race, with each race. Like I didn't watch all of UAE at once. Like I watched each one for each day as they played out. So this one I didn't get to until well into the afternoon on Sunday. And I was like, all right, I know that ain't shit going to be going on until Jebel Hafit. I know that comes 14 kilometers before the end. I'm just going to get on here and go straight to 14 kilometers, crack a beer, lay back, and enjoy. And it was awesome, man. It's just,
it looks like the most brutal climb ever for some reason. I don't know if it's that there's no trees or what, that it's so long. Like, you have these long sweeping runs in it, but it just looks painful. It's not even that, it doesn't even seem to be that steep, but it just drags
until it does.
Yeah.
It's just wild to look at. Everything about it just seems, it's just so foreign to what we're used to, as we've discussed many a times. And it just goes.
Is it one of those mountains that they made?
No, but that's a new thing.
Okay.
I'm sure we will be talking about,
because it also doesn't it seem like it's a road to nowhere? Where does that beautiful road go?
Yeah, it's very strange, but hey, it provides a playground for our beloved bike riders. Yeah, and in contrast to the men's Valenciana race we were just discussing, the graphics package on this race, fantastic. You know what I mean? Like, we got, as they head up that climb, we've got simultaneous. They're showing us the gradient and like the distance to the finish of the climb simultaneously, in addition to all the other
The
information.
splits and all the other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really nice. And what's so cool about this, in my opinion, is that we've got a bunch of, big names in this group headed up, and it's one of those climbs where it just spits people out the back, one after the next, after the next, after the next. It's just a war of attrition until you get down to the most elite group, and then
it starts spitting them out too.
yeah. Well, and then you actually get some attacks and stuff like that. So at the start of the race, it should be noted that one Anna van der Breggen, the big hope for the UAE, or excuse me, the SD Works squad on this particular stage is gone. So
is Marlon Royce.
yeah, I think Royce dropped out earlier.
She dropped out 2 days before. Well, she
Yeah.
didn't start the day before.
Right. So, yeah, and it's a big ass group at the bottom of Jebel Hafit. 35 riders. You got all the ones that are going to be making a difference, including ELB and Kasia Newedoma, but a whole host of others out there. So you got work.
You got to see
Go
Kim
ahead.
LaCourt. Well, I mean, you've been able to see Kim LaCourt for 3 days, but you get a really good look at that new kit setup for her, which I am all in for.
Yeah, it looks super good. Yeah, I love it as well. And yeah, UAE was looking real good. Like Eliza Longoborghini, defending champion. She's in the Italian national champions jersey, exactly like last year. She had two helpers last year, I feel like, in the end too. So she's got Caroline Swinkles, Sylvia Persico. Weebus drops off the back with 8.7 kilometers to go. She was hanging in there for a while. Kind of amazing. It's just getting tougher and tougher. The gradients are like 6%, 7%, 8%, 8 kilometers to go. It's steady 8%, and things are just like breaking apart. But you see Cassia locked on Eliza Longoborghini's wheel, and you're like, yeah, this is looking good. Some other notables still in it with 7.5. Zoe Backstedt in the white jersey, there working for Cassia. You got Pfeiffer Georgie, Justine Gakira, Nicola Noskova, Monica Trinka Colonel, Amanda Spratt, Neem Fisher Black. So a couple of riders, couple teams in there with numbers. 6.9. Swinkles is done. ELB's down to one helper, gradients up to 10% now. It's just like everything just keeps like ratcheting up and ratcheting up and ratcheting up. Meanwhile, you just got these like stunning views that they're going past, the seriousness on their face, and they pull that helicopter shot back, and it's just like, oh, it's so cinematic.
Well, and I can't say enough. I mean, the road it literally looks brand new. Like,
Yeah.
Brand
nobody's
new.
going
Like
up
they
there.
just made it. Like Tuesday.
It's wild. Absolutely wild. So yeah, you just get so much action in this thing. Sylvia Persico's hanging in. Lidl Trek still in there with Fisher Black and Amanda Spratt. Backstack gets dropped. Spratt attacks 6.3. Amanda Spratt's putting in an attack, and it's looking real fast at first, but like immediate, like ELB is like immediately on her wheel, and of course Cassia is right behind her. But the increase in pace drops like 6 people right off the back. So Persico's gone. Longo Borghini's on her own at this point. You're down to 6 with 6 kilometers to go. It's ELB, Cassia, Kim LaCour, Neem Fisher Black, Famke de Vries from Visma Lisa Bike, and Monica Trigger Coronel from Libalula. Yeah, absolutely. So what happens so often in these cases, Cassia starts pushing the pace. She just has no patience. She cannot just sit in the wheels until the very end. She starts pushing the pace, and immediately this group starts like coming apart, coming back together, coming apart, coming back together.
Can we talk about the fact that when she makes that move, it looked like they were going 1 mile an hour.
Yeah.
Like, they looked like they were almost stopped. Like, it was
crazy.
the pace was so slow between that group of riders. And then she took off, and all I can remember thinking when she took off was, it's too soon. You should not be doing this. You should be trying to conserve every bit of energy because,
Yeah,
and
it's like it's classic with a K, Cassia. You know
yeah,
what I
I
mean?
just don't understand why she would have gone in that spot because obviously everybody was having a hard time with it, and so if everyone's having a hard time with it, and then she buries herself to absolutely do nothing, to create some separation that she didn't create, and I don't know. I think that she chooses to maximize that effort in the wrong place.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the story of her life, with a couple of notable
Exceptions.
exceptions. But ELB is playing it super smart. She's not doing any of the work. She is so like you can just see how dialed in she is to like the group dynamics as they're going up this thing. And then coming to the fore is Monica Trinka Colonel for Liv Jago Alula. She starts pushing pace and creating separations and chaos. Drops Kim LaCourte with like 5 kilometers to go, and it's down to 5. And then she ramps it back up again. Cassia, Eliza still hanging in. She at one point, Eliza fakes like she's going to the front, like she makes like kind of a move, and what's her name? Neve immediately jumps and like gets flustered, and now they start cat and mousing, and like I'm like, damn, this woman's gameswomanship is just incredible. Now then Cassia starts injecting more pace. 3.7 to go. And finally ELB's like, all right, we're done messing
Enough
around.
of this. Yes.
Goodbye. And when she attacks, ain't nobody can hang with her.
Well, and you had like a momentary thought that maybe Cassia could hang with her, and then she dropped Cassia, and then the riders behind Cassia end up dropping Cassia.
Yeah.
She ends up getting
Yeah.
caught by those two chasers and then getting dropped.
Yeah, Famke de Vries tries to cover Cassia. Tries to cover Longa Borghini when she makes her move, but ends up with Cassia. And the two of them are kind of struggling to hang on, as Eliza is just putting more and more distance into him. As you said, ultimately, Trinka Colonel bridges up to those two, and then her and Famke de Vries drop Cassia, and like they drop her hard. Cassia ends up a full like half minute behind them and a minute behind Eliza at the end,
I
or
mean, she
maybe
lost
even
her
more.
podium spot right there.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. So she just once again put in too much effort too early. She went too deep trying to hang with Eliza at the end, and they all just blazed right past her. So Eliza Longo Borghini makes good on the enormous amount of pressure that's upon her as the lead woman for the Emirati team to win the home race, and she does it just like last year, wearing the Italian tricolor, same exact situation. She makes her move almost at the same exact time. I mean, it was almost a carbon copy of last year, and I'm pretty sure last year uh, Vibus won the other 3 stages, right? I mean, like the race was
Yeah.
literally played out exactly the same. I think the only difference was that the Jebel Hafid was on stage 3 last year, and this year was on stage 4.
Yes.
And I think that's the only difference in the 2 races this year. Otherwise, carbon copies, and it's crazy. But you know what? I love Eliza Longo Borghini. She was great in her interview as always. And I like how she said chapeau to everyone today because they made the race nice. At least the climb, because the first part was pretty boring.
She's always a delight in her interview as well.
Yeah. She's like, I saw Cassia following me, and then when I saw that she looked a little bit tired, I went again and I dropped her. So she takes first. Monica Colonel slides into second, and Famke de Vries gets third. And as you just said, not only did Cassia lose her podium, she allowed Kim LaCourte Pinar to slide past her into fourth, and Cassia ends up in fifth. And Famke de Vries was just adorable on the podium. She was so happy to make that podium, and she's just giggling and laughing. Her teammates are out there in front, just waving her on. It's quite a nice moment, and a great race. I
Yeah,
love to
we
see
just got the points.
our girl.
Eleonora Chiaboka won the young rider, and Canyon Shrams onto Crypto took the team classification. No K or quick QOM in this race.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I wonder what's up with that.
not enough climbs. It's a flat desert. It's my guess.
All right. Well, let's jump into these two one-day races. Both of them are associated with other stage races. So the Muscat Classic, a men's race, is every time I see the name of it, I'm thinking it's in France somewhere because like Muscat, the Muscat grape, the French Muscat grape, and then it's like, oh no, wait, this is that thing that's attached to the Tour of Oman,
Yeah, which
right?
Muscat is the capital.
Right, Muscat is the capital of Oman. So it's a one-day race that goes along with the Tour of Oman, which starts the very next day. Did you watch this race or a recap of this race?
I think I watched a recap. I could not. The only thing that I found was like in Arabic.
In
and it
Arabic,
was,
yeah.
yeah. Um,
Yeah, I was happy to see our guy Baptiste Viestrofer out in front. He was the guy that got away that I talked about with
yes.
my guy Enzo Polini,
Did you see how much
Frenchman
he spent off the front? Did you see
No.
what he clocked?
I know he had the gap up to like 5:35 at one point. He was by himself.
He spent 176 kilometers off
By
the front.
himself. Wow. That is impressive.
All right.
One to watch.
Like,
I wouldn't be
wow.
surprised to see him crop up on one of our fantasy teams in years to come. Yeah, lots of attacks at the end. It was basically like the first half was flat, and the second half was like a sawtooth with 5 or 6 different climbs in there. Most of the sprinters get dropped, and going into the finish, it was a group of 3 and a 2-on-1 at that.
Yep.
He had
Yates, Schmid, and Plappy.
Yeah, it was Yates v. Schmid and Plappy. Plappy, of course, still stinging from his big F up in the Australian National Championships for his team Jayco. And for once, we get a 2-on-1 where the gentleman in the majority
beat the one.
execute it properly. You know what I'm saying? They all stay together. And then Plappy leads out Mauro Schmid, who was unquestionably the best sprinter of the 3. And
buried Yates.
Yeah. Yates knew he wasn't going to win. So Mauro Schmid gets the win. Jayco gets the win. A little bit of redemption for Luke Plapp, I'll wager. Schmid's wearing the Swiss national champions jersey. And notably, old Astana slide in for 4th and 8th. 4th and 8th for Astana.
That's what they're good at. Top 10s.
2 guys in the top 10. No win, but 2 guys in the top 10.
Top 10s.
It's like you have your way and I have mine.
By the way, just thinking of Adam Yates makes me think of Simon Yates. And boy, does that whole thing just seems, after we talked and I did some more research on it. Ooh. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Well, it seems real fishy.
All right, we'll save whatever you have till the end after
we'll
Broom Wagons, and we'll get into it. Or after this conversation, we'll talk about it. The women's Vuelta CV Feminas, I did get to see a bit more of. Of course, this stands for the Women's Vuelta Comunitat Valenciana Feminas, the women's version of the men's stage race. And this is one of those lame instances where the men get a stage race and the women get a one day, and it's lame.
Which doesn't make sense to me. You're telling me that they couldn't put together 3 days for these these women? Like,
it doesn't make sense either. And it's like, okay, if you only have 6 days of racing available to you, then let's each have a 3-day race. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just lame. So, Joe Rousel and Danny Christmas on the call. 36 kilometers ago, a breakaway group with Gasparini and Squeebon from UAE. Lippert from Movistar, De Jong of Cofidis, Anna Henderson, Elite Trek, and the first appearance in my remembrance in 2026 of one Erska Ziegart from AG Insurance.
I have not seen her
raced all this year?
before this weekend.
Yeah, it all comes back together way out, 33 Ks to go, and stays together for a long, long time until like 10 kilometers to go. Large group of around 18 in front, chasing group, large chasing group about 50 seconds back. And Movistar is pushing the pace. Sarah Martin, she's in the Spanish Champions jersey. She's on the front. She's got Lippert. She's got Kat Ferguson waiting in the wings. Multiple teams here with numbers, including Human Powered Health, Lidl Trek, UAE, through 7Ks to go. Movistar still bossing it, keeping the gap to the peloton, moving in an outwardly fashion. At some point, Kat Ferguson's having issues. Did you catch this?
Yeah, she was having like almost like a mechanical in a way or something. I don't know what it was exactly, but
it was weird. She was signaling, and they were saying that usually when that happened, she was basically just kind of putting her hand up, but she was like on the front end of a very large peloton, and I would think it would be hard for anybody to see her from behind. But the commentators mentioned that sometimes the rider will do that just to signal the fellow riders behind him, like, hey, I'm about to drop back. You like watch out. So, yeah, she kind of dropped out of it, and we realized, Movistar is not working to set up Kat Ferguson for this finish. Because she's tucked in nicely behind her teammates, but then she just kind of disappears in the rest of the race. Human Powered Health puts in an attack inside of 5K. Lippert covers it. There's a Cofidis rider with her. They get pulled back in, but then boom, Liana Lippert hits out and gets a gap. She gets like 6 seconds on the bunch with 3Ks to go, and it's a real small gap for a little while there, right? By the time they get to the red kite, she's got it from like 6 seconds to like 10 seconds, but that's going in the right direction. Yes. And now we've got less than 1,000 meters to go. And she hangs on and does it.
Yeah, she looked really, really strong. It was quite surprising to see her go off the front and stay off the front in that sense, in that way.
Yeah, by 500 meters to go, she headed up to 14 seconds. So she kept the gap moving in the right direction.
And then did Kat get third?
Yes, I thought she was completely out of it. And then out of nowhere, Kat Ferguson's back in there to grab third. So really great work from a very strong Movistar team. They're really getting it done on both ends of the field.
Yeah, and the men and the women both got wins in the last on Sunday for Movistar.
Yeah, so, huge day, and in Spain, both in Spain. So
I'm sure there was a party happening that night for those two teams.
Well, there was a party happening on the podium because both Kat and Liana took healthy swigs from their cava bottles, while Bo Youth of AG Insurance didn't even take a sip. She just gave a sheepish smile to them as both of them were like, yeah, we're doing this. It's party time. It was awesome. It was her first win of the season for Lippert. Just good vibes all around. A great race. Anything else on that one?
No.
All right. Well, stick around, folks, and we'll be right back to take another little Spanish ride in the Broom Wagon. All right, we're back. It's Broom Wagon time. Justin, what have you got?
So if you scroll down into my notes, the interwebs went nuts with Poggy dyed his hair like Eminem.
I kept hearing people talking about it, and I meant to look up a picture. I didn't, so I'm so glad you have this. Yes, it's Eminem. He looks fine. It looks like it won't be poking out of the top of his helmet, so I call that an improvement.
He said that Slim Shady introduced me to hip hop when I was 12 years old on my listening devices. Was downloaded around 200 songs, all Eminem. Since then, I discovered the love of rap and hip hop, and now my repeat playlist are mostly Slovenian rappers.
Oh my gosh! On air production meeting. Let's do a segment on our other podcast about Slovenian rappers, just because. I'm so intrigued.
Yeah, and then shout out. I'm gonna shout out. There's a great vlog done by Tegan Phillips, who's a travel vlogger, where she did a cafe ride with Pogachar, and it just shows that he is just like the sweetest dude ever. Continental Tires sponsored it, and then she did a bike packing trip while she was in Slovenia. So really cool, really fun to watch. But yeah, little shout out to Tade and how cool he is as a pro. What do you got?
Well, I feel like I might be stepping on something that we discussed as a possible like full-blown segment topic, but given the timeliness, I just wanted to go ahead and broom wagon this thing now. Uh, I am going to talk about ski mountaineering. That's right. It's the Olympics' brand new sport being introduced in this year's Winter Olympics. And I think the races don't start until a couple of days from now. I should have looked that up. I think it's at the end of the week. Ski mountaineering, aka skimo. And it should be noted the Winter Olympics do not add new sports very often, not nowhere near as much as the Summer Olympics, who stuck in breakdancing last year or 2 years ago, to my delight. Do you know when the last sport was added to the Winter Olympics and or what it was?
I have no idea.
It was in 2002 and it was the skeleton. Are you familiar with skeleton?
That's like some sort of luge thing, right?
It's luge, but head first. It's like sledding, basically. It's like sledding down a luge track, basically. Yes, yes,
Jesus.
it's
Like,
crazy.
how can we make luge a little more
Yeah,
dangerous?
yeah, exactly. So ski mountaineering, aka skimo, is the newest event to be added to the Winter Olympics. And there will be three events: the men's and the women's sprint, and the mixed relay, which is one man and one woman in each team doing alternating laps, 2 laps each. And I'm going to get into what this sport is all about. It came up on the show because Quinn Simmons, one of our favorite American pros on the men's side, has mentioned it before as an interest of his, and we had at one point had an on-air production meeting and wanted to do this as a topic. So because the Olympics is starting up and I'm excited to
Man,
watch
you
it, I
should
just
talk
want
about
to
it.
go ahead and do it. He mentioned on What's Occurring podcast, our favorite cycling podcast, that he was thinking that he'd like to get into this sport after his cycling career winds down. He thought it would suit him since it's basically like really short, like 3-4 minute efforts, and it's done on skis, which is something he has a
Second
lot of
nature for
experience with.
him,
Yeah. So what is it? This sport harkens back to like the early days of skiing when there were no chairlifts, and if you wanted to ski down a mountain, you first had to climb up that mountain. So, in the 1924 Olympics, there was an event called Military Patrol. You gotta love the old Olympics. That was a predecessor of the biathlon, which is a very established Winter Olympic sport.
which
And
is
it's
like
similar.
skiing and shooting, right? Yeah.
Exactly. It's similar to ski mountaineering. It's one of these hybrid sports where like two activities are combined. And often the transition, the pit area, if you will, is like kind of part of the strategy. And it definitely comes into play in ski mountaineering. It's like doing an Ironman triathlon where you got to go from the swim to the bike and then from the bike to the run. And there's these transition zones and stuff you got to do from, going from
Right.
one medium to the next. So the way ski mountaineering works is you got special skis. They're called alpine skis. They allow the heel of the foot to be loose for ascending, but then fixed for descending. So the racers start on the bottom of the hill. They're wearing they're alpine skis, and on the bottom of the skis, they've got skins, which are like these like long, like rubber things that are on the bottom of the skis that just kind of like loop on the front. You pull them back, they like elasticize over the back, right? And they're on there because you got skis on, but you're about to go running up a hill. So the race starts, you got your poles. You also got like a little backpack thing on, which is going to come into play. You got your skis, and boom, boom, boom. You start up the hill, and like as you're going up, there are obstacles that you have to go around like this. And then at some point, you hit an even steeper section, right? And you have to stop and take the skis off completely. You tuck them into your backpack, and now you're climbing up a steep thing like with your feet, just like with your boots and your poles. So now you go climbing up, then you get up to the top. Um, you throw the skis back on, and there's at one point right before you start the downhill, there's this great move where they whip the skins off, and they're so good at it that they like do this like little hop motion, and when they come down, that's the motion that they use to lock the heels in for the downhill, and boom, they take off doing the downhill, and then it's a race down to the finish, and it's a cool sport. It's a hybrid of a couple of different kind of disciplines. I think I think there are versions of ski mountaineering where it's like a lot more intense, where you're going up like crazy mountains and like you're way up there. For the Olympics, it's a very contained kind of a thing, and it's more about that 3-4 minute effort. I think there are ski mountaineering races that are like hours long, which I would like to get into. So maybe we do it as a subject. But it's really cool. It's a cool sport. It's making its Olympic debut. I wanted to shout it
Definitely
out. Maybe
checking
one
it
day
out.
we'll see Quinn Simmons doing this. The Olympics have begun on showing on Peacock, which is very nice, as they did with the summer 2 years ago. And it's so nice to be able to just bounce around and watch everything in replay. So I'm sure we will be doing a good deal of Olympic talk in the next 2 weeks. Perhaps that'll be a good idea for show subjects on the other podcast.
Yep.
So did you want to, well, you want to talk quickly about the Adam Yates thing? I mean, the Simon Yates thing?
I mean, it's just very interesting that, the consensus across a lot of cycling pundits is that, there's a very strong likelihood that he tested positive inside the team for some sort of doping or some sort of something that, because across the board, everybody is saying that they don't feel like it's genuine, his lack of motivation.
All right. Well, it's going to be interesting watching that story play out in the coming weeks and months, although I would imagine that it's going to try to just quietly go away. That's probably what will happen.
My assumption is that, yes, they will want to do as little talking about it as possible. And, I would have to imagine in this day and age that these guys have like clauses in their contracts that protect the team at all costs from this kind of shit, to where,
Yeah, I'm sure. And it would be, I don't know, it's just a real shame because up until now, over the past several years, like there has not been any high profile doping allegations. We've seen, bits and pieces down in the lower ranks of the cycling world here and there. But I have been saying pretty confidently for the last several years that like the way that it's handled now with the biological passport is a pretty foolproof system, or at least seems to be. And perhaps this is evidence of that system being foolproof and somebody just, making dumb decisions or whatever, but it's certainly very disappointing if it proves to be true. I mean, you and I very much enjoyed Simon Yates's Giro d'Italia win last year. It was a delight, an absolute delight. We were beside ourselves. It was on our, top 5 moments of the year list. And it certainly would cast a pallor over it to find out that Yates was doping then or now, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, and it goes along too with like the technology doping and things like that, the internal motors and the bikes and, yada, yada. So it's,
if it proves to be true, it would be a shame.
You don't want it to, you just don't want it to be true. I agree with you.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll leave it there. And that is all for this week. Join us next week for coverage of a whole bunch of pro cycling action, including, but by no means limited to, the women's Volta Valenciana, the men's Tour de la Provence, the men's Vuelta a Murcia, the men's Figueria Classic, the men's Clásica de Almería, and the women's and men's Clásica Jaén. Who said the season doesn't start till March? Good Lord. Until then, for my brother Justin, I'm Matt Harper. Thanks for listening. We hope you'll join us again soon for another ride on the team bus. Ale.
The Team Bus is a production of Harperama. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Please like and subscribe, smash that button, leave a 5-star review, and most importantly, tell all your friends about us. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next time. Ale!